The health of a fandom isn't measured by how much everyone agrees in it. It's measured by how they treat each other when they don't agree. John Campea.
You know what's great about John Campea? He's Canadian.
Hamilton. I'm not really a big Hamilton fan, to be honest. The musical, that is.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah. Hamilton has the most waterfalls in like North America, by the way.
Oh, I did not know that.
So we're going to talk about fandom and the BS surrounding it. So I'm going to let Andrew talk so you can all put your hatred towards him. Andrew, go for it.
Fandom is bad. This is a very beautiful quote, and you know, it's sad that we still have to talk about this so long after The Last Jedi, so long after the prequels. You know, it's sad that history keeps repeating itself. I guess it's like poetry; they rhyme. Where something comes out, and a lot of people can dig it, a lot of people can not dig it and be cool about it and just be like, yeah, I don't dig that, whatever, moving on. Then you got some people, whether they dig it or not, who are not cool about it, and they treat others in a very, very not nice manner, and that's when you get just the ugly side of fandom. And that doesn't just apply to Star Wars, that applies to everything, you know, movies, TV, anime, my channel.
Mostly your channel. I hate
mostly
your
my channel.
You are a shill to your channel.
You actually started your own separate Google account that says Andrew Fantasia's channel sucks.org. You have more subscribers than I do.
It's a GoFundMe, actually. I've made $3.5 million.
But it's sad that there seems to be so much effort in the world of fandom put towards this negativity, this hatred for either a product or people who didn't like a product. And if that amount of effort was just put towards the more positive sides of fandom, what a nicer world that would be. And I think that, you know, I've been watching Campea since mid-2015, I want to say, when my cousin Vince introduced me to, back in the days it was AMC. And he has always just been a really insightful dude talking about Star Wars, and he always had something really poignant to say whenever these issues came up. And actually, if you watched his Last Jedi, one of his rants he did afterwards, where people were hurling like racial slurs at Kelly Marie Tran and really sexist, just like vile stuff at the movie. And what I love about him is that he doesn't sugarcoat anything. Like, he let those people have it. Like, he tore a new asshole for some of those people. And I think that kind of honesty is commendable in this era where everybody sort of feels like they need to clam up and just say something that won't offend everybody. You know what I mean? And it's okay to hate things. It's okay to not like things, but don't turn that into a whirlpool of negativity for everybody around you. And that's what, unfortunately, a bunch of people are doing, whether or not they hate or like a Star Wars. And luckily, you and I don't seem to be gravitated towards those people or attract those kind of people. Like, we haven't really had that problem on this channel.
No, we've been lucky, and I think, you know, our videos have been positive. And I'm trying to find a quote, but I'll probably have to find it while you're talking next, because I can't seem to pull it up right here. But I'll say this: the views on our channel, they're not crazy big. Obviously, if you look at them, they're not. We did one on like Mara Jade. That one kind of did well. You and I did one recently about the episode 9 leaks. That one did fairly well. But if we talk about Solo, or we talk about something that's not clickbaity, it doesn't get the views because we're positive. And then you look, you know, and I've said this a few times, like, you know, if we really want the views, we just have to take a giant poo on Star Wars. That's it. Like, we could easily just have a title: Star Wars sucks, Star Wars was ruined, SJW, blah, 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 blah. And we would get 20,000 views probably. But we all look at each other and we're like, well, that's not who we are. We actually enjoy Star Wars. And look, I know a lot of people that mean a lot to me, that are close to me, that didn't like The Last Jedi. They didn't like it. They're all going to see Solo on the 24th. All of them. One of them is even more excited to see Solo than I think any of the other movies that have come out yet. So it's okay not to like The Last Jedi. And I've said this, I can see it is flawed. I see the flaws. There are things in it that frustrate the hell out of me. But it's not, and we say you can hate it. I wouldn't say hate it. Just don't like it. It's a movie. Get over it. I know Star Wars has a special place in all of our hearts. That's why people are here. And there's this whole thing going on out there as well where Lucasfilm was like, no, it's a small percentage that are really angry at this movie. And that small percentage, though, is very loud. And they're like, it's not a small percentage. Look at everybody that hates it. And I will actually agree with Lucasfilm, but I'll explain it. I do think it's a small percentage that is bitching and moaning, and they're the 20,000 views, the 30,000 subscribers on the bitching channels and YouTube channels and Instagram accounts and whatnot. I think it's a small amount. 30,000 people compared to $2 billion is a small amount. It's a small ass amount. But I will say, on the other end of the spectrum, I think that probably the amount of people that love Last Jedi versus did not like it, that might be more even than those haters. And I think that's the difference. And that's what people are forgetting. I think Lucasfilm looks at it like they know that people weren't thrilled with The Last Jedi, but they know people went to go see it, and they know people loved it, and they know people went to go see it. And they know that there's a group, like there's this probably like that small percentage of dimwits out there that just bitch about it. Like I'll go on the podcast with Brock and we'll be like, we love Star Wars. And the first thing is, you're a shill for Disney. And then that's somebody that's never been on the channel before. It's like, yeah, I'm a shill. We have 3,000 subscribers. We haven't made a dime in like 6 months on the channel, but I'm a shill. I just freaking like a movie, talking about it with other people that like a movie, and we're having a conversation. If you don't want to be part of that conversation, don't be part of the conversation. Go be part of it with the bitches that are bitching about it. That's all I got to say about that. I'm so sick of the hatred coming on from everybody. You love the movie. That's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Star Wars as a whole. I don't really get... And there are people on this channel that comment weekly that do not like The Last Jedi, and I wholeheartedly respect their opinion. And they just want to... They still love Star Wars. They still want to talk about it. They might feel like it's heading in the wrong direction, and they have every right to be worried about it. But to say that I ruined their childhood, to say mean things about Kathleen Kennedy, about all the people over there, is just stupid. No one is listening to you, except for the people that want to listen to you. It annoys me how this fandom... We just did a video on Star Wars Celebration, and when we were there, it was so great. You're just surrounded by people that love Star Wars. When we saw Last Jedi premiere, I don't know if you remember, but there was this, I don't know, he was a kid. I don't know how old he was. He wasn't that young, but he was young. He was way younger than me, so he was probably 30. But he was a young guy. And he was
28 and it was me, James.
But he was like, they're showing the trailer, right? And we're like, we don't really know. And then I remember like 2 minutes before the panel started, he had this little, those booklets, right? And he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And he turned, he's like, would you mind holding the book to Aaron? And she's like, yeah, of course. And he was like so nervous he wouldn't get back in. But it was like, everybody was like, yeah, don't worry, come on. There was a guy beside us, he's like, guys, whatever, we got this. Like, we were all kind of in unison. And you think of that, and then you see the bull crap that's happening online, and you're like, where are those dickholes? They're not real. Like, I just don't think they're the real I think there's a difference between just being disappointed and not liking The Last Jedi to Star Wars is ruined for good. It's one movie, whether it was your favorite one or your least favorite one. It was one movie. If you hated all 3 of the Disney movies, that's fine. You still have the other 6, but you probably hated 3 of those other 6 anyway. Look, the thing with Star Wars is it's this ever-evolving thing right now of films, and I never asked for a Han Solo movie. Well, I didn't ask for Episode 9. I didn't ask for Kylo Ren. I didn't ask for Rey. I didn't ask for Finn. I didn't ask for Phasma. I didn't ask for Boba Fett. I didn't ask for Luke. I didn't ask for Han. I didn't ask for any of those. In any of them. Not once. They were made before I was born. Not the Finn, like the original ones. We didn't ask for any of it. We're getting what we're getting. And the sad part about this is that most people watching this are in agreeing with us that we're just here to have fun with Star Wars and enjoy Star Wars. And if they're going to give us a Han Solo movie, let's just go in and let's just enjoy it for what it is. If they're going to give us an Obi-Wan film, let's go in and just enjoy it for what it is. If they're going to give us a Rian Johnson trilogy, you didn't like The Last Jedi? Give it a shot. It's still Star Wars. And if you don't like the first one of the three, fine. That's completely fine. Or maybe you wait for Netflix or video or whatever. It's fine. But don't, like, it's Star Wars. And like, we did a video months ago on the Star Wars Renaissance. And we're in it right now. Like, we are getting these movies. There were 2 periods of time where we're like, Star Wars is done. It's done. Like, 2 periods of time in our lives where it just stopped and it ceased to exist. And now it's back and it's never going to end. And so why not just revel in that and enjoy it and embrace it and have fun? And all of us hang out in Chicago and have a good time next year.
You're right. There was such a sense of camaraderie at that stage in Orlando. And it was during the episode 8 panel, and everybody was hanging on to every word spoken because we wanted to get whatever information we could. And there was that incident with the kid, like you said, everybody was very accommodating. And I remember when Daisy Ridley came out, and I forget who was moderating that panel, but they started asking her a question.
It was Josh Gad.
That's right, it was Gad. Yeah. And he starts asking her questions, and she's like all flustered and stuff, and the crowd is like going nuts, and we standing around the stage, like, we're so silent you can hear a pin drop because we're just waiting. We want to hear the juicy stuff. And Daisy makes this comment where she's like, "Oh my goodness, like my heart is pounding," and this guy in front of our group goes, "So's mine," and everybody just laughed so loudly. And like nobody in that crowd turned to him and was like, "Shut up, man! I want to hear the news." It was just, we were all there to have a great time. And when I see these people who can sit down and this goes for any movie, can sit down to a movie and like have it wash over them and then come out not only not liking it or what have you, but being angry at people for liking it or angry at people for not liking it or just throwing all this hatred everywhere. I used to work at a Starbucks for 5 years, and one thing that I learned, one sad truth that I learned, was that a lot of people are drug addicts for coffee. Like, serious, they will snap at you and say some very, very horrible things to you. My coworkers got called some very bad names if their coffee is not exactly as they want it to be. And I feel like some of these people who take this hatred, this fandom hatred to an extreme, are that kind of person where it's like they've trained their mind to not ever be happy unless everything is exactly as they expect it to be. And I'm very grateful that I am not one of those people, and that you and the rest of my friends are not those people, because that would make for a very miserable podcast.
It would. Like, things aren't always going to go your way. And, The Last Jedi, I think whether you like it or not, you have to acknowledge that they made some choices. And I never thought that it was... I didn't think it was too risky of a movie. Like, I didn't think it were bold choices made, but they made decisions where they were like, let's twist this, let's twist this, let's twist this. And I have no idea where J.J. Abrams' head is or where Kathleen Kennedy's head is, but Rian Johnson was like, I'm the director, I'm the writer, this is what I want to do. They, Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, a man named Bob Iger, who was overseer of everything at Disney. Let's not forget that. They all kind of said, yep, this will work. Or let's give this a shot, at least. And they did it, and they tried it. And now J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, the man Bob Iger, he's a male, he's in charge of Disney. They are all now going to say, this worked, this didn't work, this worked. And they're going to, I think they have a better understanding now of what they can do with Star Wars, because look, the reason Disney has it is because George Lucas did something and he got pooed on by the critics. None of them, and even by a lot of the fans pooed on it. And he was like, well, I guess I'll give it to these guys. and he gave it to. And if you've ever been to the Walt Disney Museum in San Francisco, there's a beautiful quote by George Lucas about how Star Wars should be a Disney film, and it's awesome, and it's all on there. But yeah, and it's like fans are the reason why Disney has it, and now Disney is getting their first taste of what Lucas had, and I think to a much lesser extent because the critics all liked it, and I think the Han Solo films are like 72% or something like that, which is like the third lowest, but it's still not the low. Like it's still going through a good thing, and so I like Star Wars fandom. It's funny because like I said, when you're at the Star Wars Celebration, like this is the best fandom in the world, and then when you go online, you're like, I still believe it's among the best because of what I experienced at Celebration, because of the people I've met through doing this podcast. And I just think that small percentage is a small percentage of people who, like you said, just live to hate, and they are hated. Because it's fine not to like the movie, but using words, like some of the things, like are you jealous of us because we enjoyed it? Is that what's happening? Like, is there a jealousy because we were able to enjoy it? Now you found a group of people who aren't able to experience happiness, and you're all going to cling together like a gross insect that clings together, like the human centipede or something. Like, is that what's happening over there? Like, I can't figure it out, and I don't want to care, but it's breaking through into ways that I just don't see. Like, are we going to be afraid now to give a positive review on the next Star Wars film because people will say, well, Disney's paying you off? Why? Why can't I just genuinely like a movie? And you know what? Brock, I'll use Brock. I won't use you as an example, but Brock, the day before we saw The Last Jedi, Brock said, this is going to be a 9 out of 10 movie. And then the day we saw it, we reviewed it, and he said, this is 9 out of 10. Brock, in Brock's headspace, there is no wrong to Star Wars can do no wrong. He wakes up and he drinks the Star Wars Kool-Aid every day. And he likes sweet stuff. And trust me, he's drinking the Kool-Aid. And what is wrong? Yeah, we did a review, but it's on the Rebel Scum podcast YouTube channel. What is wrong with drinking that Kool-Aid and liking Star Wars all the time, no matter what? If I was a paid film critic, that is one thing. But we are a channel to celebrate Star Wars here. So in that respect, for Brock, I think it's completely fine for him to just be like, this is the best movie ever. And then we talk about the movie. And I'll say what I like and what I don't like, and you'll say what you do. But it's okay for us to like it. John Campea is a paid critic. Well, yeah, I mean, he gets press screenings and all that stuff. He is a film critic, film pundit, all that stuff. And his opinion should be more rational than ours. But just because he liked the movie, but he's still a human being also. And he's still a Star Wars fan also. So I think for him, a Star Wars movie will always get an edge over a non-Star Wars movie. But he's still going to point out the flaws of it, which I think it was a little generous to Last Jedi. But Solo, I haven't seen a review of Solo, but I'm pretty sure he says he enjoyed it. And from what I've read, I know you said that a lot of it's been split, but what I'm seeing which is very, very minute, like very small amounts, is that people are mostly like, yeah, it's an adventure, it's a fun adventure. Like that seems to be the consensus is, yeah, it's a fun adventure. So are all the people that gave it now, okay, it got a standing ovation at cons, which whatever, I wouldn't take that for anything. But at the same time, was it whose film? There was a Matthew McConaughey was in it. The Woods. Who did that one? Terry Gilliam? Or was it what's his name? Gus Van Sant. One of them. And people like walked down and they hated it. So look, it's like, yeah, on one hand they're very excited for things, but also they could be very honest as well. And I don't know what they were for this because I haven't seen it. But just bitching and moaning at someone and calling them names because they like something, and you know that they like it, is frustrating. And as an outside observer of it all, it pisses me off.
Well, first of all, to those people who leave comments saying that we are being paid by Disney to be so positive, if one of those people is watching right now, and I hope they are, Pumpkin, if Disney was paying me, I wouldn't be living in a basement. Let that sink in for a few seconds. Second of all, I just keep getting shocked at how much the angry fan base, again, whether it's angry people who liked the movies or people who hated it, I keep getting shocked by how much these angry people keep refusing to see the world in any other form but black and white. And there is so much to it. Like the way DJ, to quote DJ from the movie where he tells Finn and Rose, he says, "Don't let the rapper fool you, friend." That's a very adequate quote to sum up how a lot of people feel about this movie. And you said it yourself. You can love the movie and not like parts of it. And you can hate the movie and really like some parts of it. I could do a whole top 5 of things about that movie that I'd be like, I would have rather they did this instead of that. But that doesn't stop it from being right now my number 1 Star Wars movie as of the last time we made our rankings list. So we have to move past and push past this whole black and white thing and just learn to look at things from all sorts of different facets. And once we start doing that, we can become a much wiser fan base. We can become that fan base John Campea is talking about, where we discuss with each other instead of lashing out at each other.
Which, to the credit of a lot of our viewers, that's what we get. And
yes,
it's awesome.
We've been very lucky with our views.
But there are some, and they just come out there and whatever. I want to read now some tweets from the Urban Acolyte, Prince Bell of YouTube channel. Check him out. He's great. You probably already do. I like this hashtag, you so crazy if. The only way your Star Wars video gets views is if you talk about how SJWs are ruining Star Wars, but you want politics out of Star Wars. Hint, what would there be for you to cry about? Fact, and there's like, that's what I said at the top. It's, we want the views. We could do those videos. We would probably, we probably would get more, but that's not, and I'm fine. I talked to Josh at the Den of Nerds, and his channel blows up, but we talk about it all the time. It's like, the people that watch the videos, when we have, I like that because I like the people that are watching the videos, and I like talking with the people that are watching the videos, and we have good discussions, and we don't always see eye to eye, and we don't always have to see eye to eye. And that's, we're individual people. We have individual thought, and that's what makes it exciting. Here, one more. Hashtag you so crazy if you watch this one is accurate beyond all. Well, the other one was too, but this one's also accurate. You so crazy if you watch the solo red carpet event just so you could rant about Kathleen Kennedy's speech in a YouTube video. People have this hate on for Kathleen Kennedy like I've never seen, and I don't get it. I like the people that are like, I don't know who she is. Why who is she? Why would like? Well, she's a big player in Hollywood. She had the cojones to throw Steven Spielberg in his 1980 peak and pin him against the wall and say, "Respect your crew or they'll walk." And he listened to her. She produced Jurassic Park 3. The best of the Jurassic Park films. Well,
she's the only one, in my opinion.
It's actually the only Jurassic Park movie that's canon. No, but she did the other ones. She's been around forever. She's like, George Lucas handpicked her. She was in the room with George Lucas when they called in Lawrence Kasdan and said, "Which Star Wars movie do you want to write?" She's not an idiot. And she's a human being, and she's doing a job. And shut up. This is the thing, though, is we shouldn't really sorry, I'll let you go in a second, but I watched a couple of videos and people were like, "Oh, who is she? She's a nobody, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, this is what's amazing about the world today. Today, we know who she is. 20 years ago, when she was doing the same job as basically, no one cared for her. She just did it. And now, apparently, she's enemy number 1 for the haters club of Star Wars.
Look, once again, shades of gray here. Sometimes I agree with choices she makes. Sometimes I don't agree with choices she makes. But you're absolutely right. She's a human being. And to all those people who trash talk her and drag her verbally through the mud and say all these horrible things and make all these videos. So all those people, I would say, I dare you to do her job for 3 months. I dare you. And let's see how much better of a job you can do.
All right, I'll take that challenge. I don't want to be the head of a studio or executive producer. I'll be executive producer if it's like a Steven Spielberg and Transformers 5 style executive producing where you're just like, put my name on it. I'm Spielberg. Give me my another ET hat and walk away. I think
we should aim for, let's say, like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we should aim for Erin as the new executive producer at Lucasfilm. She calls the shots, and then we slip her ideas for things.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think we could handle
that. Did you hear that, Erin? Do it.
It's earphones. She can't hear anything. She's out there watching. I don't know what she's watching. Real Housewives of Tatooine or something. I would watch that if it was like Watto's wife. Oh my god! Can you have Watto and Sababa's wife go on a trip to Mustafar? I'm in. I want to watch that movie now. Or the TV show. It's a whole series. Yeah, 26 episodes. It's on Slice or whatever. Let's wrap this one up. My blood is boiling. But thank all the fans on this channel. Not our fans, but the fans of Star Wars that come to this channel to watch us, to talk with us about Star Wars. It's awesome. All this hate that's going on. I said it before earlier in this video. I'm going to say it again. I think that truthfully is actually a small percentage. I think it's that 30,000 people, which is a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. It's 30 times more people don't watch our videos. But it's just, in the grand scheme of things, I think that is actually a very small percentage. And I think the people that don't like The Last Jedi are higher, but they're also rational individuals, and they know that is in their opinion, it is a mixed step, and that's completely fine. We all have our opinions, and you like it, you don't like it. My favorite Star Trek movie is Star Trek Beyond. Sue me. It is what it is. Oh, nice. It is what it is. Like, we all like what we like, and we don't like what we don't like. And I think the thing is, at the end of the day, is respect. Respect is really what it is. We need to respect each other's opinions. I haven't come on any of our shows and lashed out at the people that do not like The Last Jedi, because I'm fine if you don't like it, but I will lash out at the dickheads that just come and attack me for liking The Last Jedi or looking forward to Solo. And don't tell me to boycott Solo. I'm not going to boycott. If you want to boycott it, that is fine. If you want to explain to me why you're boycotting it, that is fine. But don't just come out and call me a moron for not boycotting it. I bought 13 tickets opening night. There's 13 of us going. And
that's right. You know, you should boycott. If you're going to spend all that energy boycotting something, boycott those pistachios that don't open. Okay?
Yeah, and you got to put them in your mouth and like crush them and then your teeth break. And John Cena, man. Because he's the voice of the elephant in that. But of the 13 of us that are going, 5 did not like The Last Jedi. 1 did not see it. He's a newbie to Star Wars. But 5 out of 13 did not like The Last Jedi. 5. That's
a healthy mix.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I said, look, I'm getting tickets, all 5 of them were like no question. 2 of them, I just bought the ticket and didn't even tell them till after. And they're all looking forward to it because it's now become this experience. And you know what? They might not like the movie. They might like it. Who knows? They didn't care. They're like, let's just go to the theater and whatever happens, happens. Because to them, look, they're not as obsessive. But I just, opinions are fine. If you want to boycott it again, that's fine. But I think respect my opinion and my decision. I'll respect yours as long as you're dignified and not a complete tool about the whole thing.
Couldn't agree more. Keep liking what you like. Keep disliking what you don't like. Just be nice about it.
And Andrew has a YouTube channel that's called Why Andrew Hates Kathleen Kennedy's SJW Agenda. Tell us about your YouTube channel.
It's called Keep Your SJs Out of My SWs. So far it has 0 subscribers. We are chugging along.
Do you think, wait, Side Akbar, do you think Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, the male head of Disney, do you think...
Who is not paying me to live in the basement.
He's paying me to live in your basement, which is kind of weird. But do you think either of them know what SJW stands for?
I think it would be hilarious if neither of them did, because they were too busy trying to make quality movies.
I had to, we started doing videos and people were like, SJW, and I was like, what the F balls is it SJW? And I had to Google it. And it took me like 3 tries on Google to find it. And then you were like, yeah, it's blah, 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 blah. I was like, you knew what it was. I did not know what it was.
Because I'm woke, James.
Yeah, I hate that word. But I guess I'm not into the lingo. I'm not a big enough dimwit to know what SJW is. My feeling is, yeah, I think there are aspects of them being like, we should put this, more female characters, for sure, probably. More ethnicity in it, for sure, probably. Why not? Look, there's a problem, obviously, in Hollywood where everything is men anyway, which is funny because all these people are complaining because women are taking, like, the SJW agenda of women. None of the female roles sucked because they were female. You can argue Holdo sucked to me all you want, but her gender played no part in that. You can argue that Rose sucked all you want, but her gender plays no role in that. And if you want her to be a man, if you wanted Rose to be Ra or Ray, then that kiss at the end would probably piss you off even more. So, think about things first. And I can't think of anyone. Like, is there another female? Leia. God, I don't know why she was a woman. There's nothing about the gender of those characters that made them worse. It wasn't like that was the point of them. And if their goal is to introduce us to more female characters, so be it. Leia was pretty much the only one for 3 movies. Amidala, Padme, does not do much in 3 movies. Well, she does nothing in the last movie.
She's just a paper doll, pretty much.
Yeah. And look, to Lucas credit, he made all those 2 female characters that he had tough individual women. But one of them didn't do much. And now the new regime is like, well, let's do more. And I remember when I saw The Force Awakens, I never thought anything of it, like, gender-wise. Like, I never thought Rey's a girl. This is weird. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, Rey is Luke. I say this all the time. Rey is Luke, Poe is Leia, and Finn is Han. And that's my thought going into it. That was my thought coming out of it. But when we left the theater, my sister goes, it was awesome seeing a girl kick ass. And I was like, where did that come from? I was like, but I am a white dude. My mind is not in that. I just don't think that way. That's not how I'm programmed to think. I didn't think anything negative of it. I never, it just was nothing. And then she said that. I was like, that's interesting. And I'll watch things with Erin, and she really likes the strong female character. You're like, okay, I'm starting to, I see it from that other side, but I don't because I'm just a white guy who lived my whole life watching these movies with white guys. Like, I just never thought of anything, but I never thought differently when I saw Rey. Like, I wasn't like, was it a female? And that's just not how I'm wired. But then when I see the reaction of my sister and my wife, and you're like, oh, this means something. This is beyond me. For me, I'm like, I can get it, but for women, this is like a thing. I get it, and I don't understand it. And the same with Black Panther. I watch Black Panther. I like Black Panther, but I don't see it from the eyes, from those eyes. I see it from a white guy's eyes, who's just like, this is a good movie. Right. But it's like it doesn't blow, like it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't take me to that level where. But then you see when you see people react to things like that, you're like, I get it. So maybe Star Wars. And I also think I'm rambling, but in 20 years, this is going to set the tone for in 20 years we're just going to have females and men.
Exactly.
Living in unison on screen together.
In 20 years, it'll be hopefully at some kind of point where all the scales are balanced nicely, and it's just whoever plays whoever, it's fine. Nobody bitches and moans about it. It's just everything is in order. Everything is equal. Yeah,
sorry, go on.
No, that's pretty much it. Like that's what I'm hoping this is all working towards, and we can get to a point where everybody has somebody to look up to. So when you have that situation where it's like, oh, here's a new movie starring Daisy Ridley, it's not like, oh my God, I finally have a hero. Like, I don't want anybody to ever be devoid of heroes, no matter what their gender or their color or whatever.
Before we wrap up, I do want to say this one thing, that you and I, people don't know this because we are 6 years apart, but you and I went to the exact same high school. Mm-hmm. We went to the same high school. And I think, looking back, I hated high school and everything, like everybody does. But looking back, I think about what I experienced in high school, and I think part of the reason why we might be more open-minded than a lot of people is we were in like the most diverse high school that I can think. Like the diversity in that school was beyond thought to a lot of people. When I talked to them about it, I'm like, well, there was like 9 million people in my graduating class, and it's from all walks of life. And so I think you and I, especially, kind of, maybe that's why we see things a little bit differently, because we've been exposed to. It's just normal for us. It's like, it's weird to think in another way for us.
No, you're right. There's no segregation, no such thing as segregation at that school. It was just, here you go, class of 2005. There's 374 grads, and they're literally 374 different countries that they come from.
Seriously.
It was like a model UN meeting. I think that definitely counts. That definitely played a part.
Because I talked to a lot of people and stuff, and I'm just like, and a lot of people, like, you're like, wow. Like, I never even, like, things don't hit me. And I did like the new Ghostbusters. It reminded me of the cartoon more than the movies, but I don't really give a crap. Those other two movies still exist, so I don't care.
I like Kate McKinnon. She's cool.
She was cool. I really liked Slimer a lot. The dance-off kind of sucked, though.
Most dance-offs usually do.
Did you see the extended version or the theatrical?
I saw the theatrical. I actually own the extended version, but I have not watched it yet.
Oh, well, the dance-off is in the extended version, and it's not very good.
Oh,
but the rest of the movie is
extended.
Well, I didn't watch the theatrical. I only watched the extended, and I was told that was what was extended. I was like, ooh. It just goes on for too long. But anyway, this still has this video. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you like Star Wars. I hope even if you didn't like Star Wars, that we can still be friends, because we shouldn't let this come between us. Anyway, guys, until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.